Hi everyone, welcome back to the AI language. So this is going to be a masterclass on OpenAI's Agent Builder, which has just been launched. And this requires a lot of setup to get started to build your first workflow. So that's what we are going to do. We're going to set up an OpenAI account to start building workflows. Then we'll create an API key that we will use to run our workflows. We'll also verify our organization, and this is actually required to enable the preview tab on the Agent Builder canvas. We're also going to add some credits to our OpenAI account so that we can actually use the builder and use these credits to run our workflows. We'll also explore enabling sharing of inputs and outputs with OpenAI, which give us some free token limit every day. And you can decide whether or not to do this after looking at this in this masterclass. Once we have done all this, we'll create a workflow which will be an HTML page generator that's going to take in a user query and start the workflow. It's going to generate a web page using a one-shot web page generator agent that we'll create. And then that workflow is going to end, and we will use the OpenAI Agent Builder canvas to achieve all this. So let's start. So OpenAI on their Dev Days conference on October 6, 2025 launched AgentKit, and these are basically tools for building, deploying and optimizing agents. All right. You can look for this blog that introduces this by searching for OpenAI Agent Builder, and you'll get to this page over here, which says openai.com/index/introducing-agentkit. All right. So this is the blog that they have, which introduces AgentKit and OpenAI Agent Builder along with the other tools which are part of the AgentKit. So to understand OpenAI Agent Builder, we need to understand what is the context in which it has been introduced. So that's AgentKit. All right. Now let's go down and understand what AgentKit offers. So AgentKit is a set of tools, and primarily there are three tools in that. One is the Agent Builder itself, and this is like a visual canvas for creating and versioning multi-agent workflows. So this is very similar to NA10, and if you have seen the previous lectures on NA10, you already understand what that visual canvas is. There's a lot of nodes that you can put in, connect together and generate your workflows. The second aspect is the container registry, right? So this is a central place for admins to manage how data and tools connect across OpenAI products. This is a part of the agent kit separate from the agent builder. All right. And thirdly, we have the chat kit. So this is a toolkit for embedding your AI workflows in your own applications very, very easily. All right. And again, this is separate from Agent Builder, but all these three together are the major components of your agent kit that OpenAI has recently introduced. So I hope this helps you understand what Agent Kit is overall. And what Agent Builder is, it's a part of that Agent Kit. It's one of the tools available inside the Agent Kit. And it's something like N8N or Langflow, and it helps you build multi-step agentic workflows in a visual manner using a drag drop interface. All right. All right, so here is an example of a canvas that they show on their blog. And if you have seen the N10 lectures before, this might seem very, very familiar to you. So to begin with, we have a canvas and we have multiple kinds of nodes over here. And these are connected using these connectors. Now, each node has a specific functionality. So just for example, there's a start node, which is actually going to trigger or start your workflow. There are guardrail nodes over here and over here. So these nodes help to put some kind of constraints or prevent some kind of jailbreaks or prompt injection attacks, etc. in your workflow. So for example, if the user provides some kind of sensitive information, which is personal identifiable information, PII, you might have a guardrail that prevents this from passing through. So the guardrail will try to see if this kind of information is present or not. So for a successful case, you might not want this information to be present, in which case it's a pass and the workflow proceeds to the agent. And in case this kind of information is present, then it might be a fail and you might want to end the workflow. So this is one kind of node that's available in the Agent Builder canvas. You of course have agents. So for example, we have a classification agent over here, a return agent, a retention agent, and an information agent. So these are all agents which connect to LLMs. Over here, these are OpenAI large language models that you can connect to, and these will work on the incoming data and transform them in some way. These also allow you to connect to MCP or to data stores to search for information, and then these basically produce an output. There's also an if else condition node over here. So this can check for multiple conditions and based on that direct the workflow to a specific branch. So this is how Agent Builder looks. Now the next step is how do we access OpenAI Agent Builder? So to access OpenAI Agent Builder, I'll simply open a new tab and search for OpenAI Agent Builder. All right. And let's click on the Agent Builder link from OpenAI API over here. And this is going to take you to the docs page of Agent Builder. Over here, you'll find a button which says Open Agent Builder, and you can actually click on this to open it. Now, as the first step, you need to sign up for an OpenAI account or you need to log in. All right. In case you don't have an account, you can simply click on sign up. Now, once you click on sign up, you land on this page and you can choose any one of these options over here. So I'm going to choose continue with Google to create an account over here. All right. Once you have signed up with Google, it will ask you more information about your full name, about your birthday, and it will ask you to agree to their terms and privacy policy. So you can click on continue after entering this information if you agree with this. So let me add this now for myself. All right. So now once you have entered that, it gives you a welcome screen and it tells you to create an organization to generate API keys and start building. So I'm going to add an organization name over here. So once you have added your organization and chosen what the best describes you, just click on next and it gives you an option to invite your team members. And I'll select I'll invite my team later over here. All right, so now we come to the make your first API call screen over here. So it gives me an option to create a project and generate a key to make your first API call. So I'm going to keep the defaults over here and I'll click on generate API key. Now you can test your API key using this curl command. Just make sure that you keep this API key secure and private. Don't push it to GitHub repos. Add those files where you save these keys into gitignore. And I'm going to delete this key after I release this lecture. So I'm going to copy the curl command over here. Let's open a terminal and let's enter this curl command and test out our API. All right. So actually the API key does work, but we have exceeded our current quota because we don't have any billing enabled. You need to enable billing for OpenAI APIs, and it's unlike what we have seen with Google's Gemini APIs, where you have a free tier and you only need to enable billing if you go beyond that free tier. So we'll do this in a later step. Let's just go back to our OpenAI browser window and let's just click on continue over here. All right, so now it gives us the option to add some API credit. Now, one important note over here is that OpenAI does offer daily free token limits if you allow sharing of inputs and outputs with OpenAI. I'll talk about this in a bit, but for me, that only worked when I first added a payment method and then bought some credits and then enabled that feature. Without adding a payment method, I was not able to start a workflow as of the date of recording of this lecture. So if you wish, you can select the option to buy these credits later, which is shown on the screen, and go to the bit where I talk about sharing and then getting this free token limit for each day, and try it out yourself if it works at the time that you're watching this video. That might save you some credits over here. If it does not work, you can come back and then continue with this process if you wish to. So let me select $5, which is the minimum over here, and let me click on purchase credits. You can also go to the billing section to check out if you can add a custom amount. I'm just going to select the recommended minimum over here and click on purchase credits. Once you click on purchase credits, it's going to show you a screen where you can enter your credit card or other information for payment. You may add your payment details if you wish to and purchase these credits. This will be required for this course because unfortunately OpenAI, in my knowledge, does not offer currently any kind of free credits. In case you do come across some kind of free credits, please share that in your comments or questions so that we can actually spread that information and more students can actually try to use this for free. But for now, I'm going to actually click on purchase credits and add this. You can take your own call as to how much amount you want to add over here. So now I've added my credit card and added $5 worth of credits in the OpenAI platform. And after a successful credit, it actually brings you to platform.openai.com/docs/overview. So now you need to go back to the agent builder. So you can actually go over here to build agents and then select agent builder over here. All right. So I'm going to do that now. And then you can select the open agent builder option again. Alright, so this is the home screen of the agent builder. And over here on the left, you see that under create, you have agent builder selected. And in the middle, you have the agent builder screen with a create workflow option. So you can create a workflow over here with custom logic and tools by clicking on this button. And you have some templates like data enrichment templates, planning helpers, customer service, and so on. All right. You also have a settings option over here. So you can click on that to see various settings. So I'm just going to show you the billing over here because you need to keep a track of how much you are spending. So you can go to settings and select billing to see how many credits you have remaining. So I can see the recently added $5 of credit over here, and that's good. There's also an option to claim free tokens, and this is when you share the traffic with OpenAI. So I'm going to just click over here. Now, if you scroll down over here, there's an option to share inputs and outputs with OpenAI. And this just says that, if you do this, you're eligible for free daily usage on traffic shared with OpenAI. And there are a lot of details and fine print over here, which you should actually read by clicking on this and going through all the details provided over here. In case you do not see the option over here to go to this, you can actually go to the settings and then visit data controls and then go to the sharing tab. And over here, you can see that you're eligible for free daily usage on traffic shared with OpenAI under these conditions. So I'm going to enable this for selected projects and let me choose the default project over here. So now I know that I have done this for my default project. And this should then give me some free tier as I see in Gemini, right? Let me click on save over here. And now you have the confirm content sharing agreement with OpenAI. Now you can read through this. And if you agree to this, you can click over here and click on submit. And once you do that, it will show that you are enrolled for complimentary daily tokens. All right. So please understand and read this and then only accept this. It might vary based on your situation, whether you would want to accept this or not. I have added credits in my account so that I'll be using those. And I'll also be trying out the free credits over here subject to these terms and conditions. I'm going to click on save again over here and it says sharing successfully updated. And now I can go back to my agent builder. So I'll go back to the dashboard by clicking here and I'll go to the agent builder again by clicking over here. All right. So now we are back to the agent builder and we have done two things. We have added some credits and for my project, I have accepted sharing where I get some free tokens. Now I can actually click on create over here to create my first workflow. And this is going to build a chat agent workflow with custom logic and tools. All right. So now I'm back at the dashboard and I've selected the agent builder. And now I'm going to create my first workflow. So to do that, we are going to click on the create button over here. Once you do that, you end up on the new workflow screen over here. And you can see that there are two nodes that they already offer, which is start and my agent. So these are preset nodes that come with the new workflow. You can select a node like this and see its properties. You can move around the node like this and so on. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on these three dots over here and click on rename. And I'm going to name my workflow as an HTML page generator. Okay, so I'll call my workflow as an HTML page generator. And that's because I want this to be a workflow which takes in a user query and generates a single HTML, CSS, and JavaScript page, just like we have done with our examples in NA10. So let's click on rename over here. Now we're going to click our first node, which is the start node. So these are the properties of the start node. So you have input variables over here, and all start nodes have input as text. So we can't change this. And there is state variables. We're not going to add any state variables over here. Now, as you are working with this particular platform, this might evolve because it's very new. So you can always click on this icon over here to learn more. So let's click on this now. And now this brings us to the docs page. And you can read over here that start nodes define inputs to your workflow. For user input in a chat workflow, start nodes do two things. They append the user input to the conversation history, and they expose this variable input as text to represent the text contents of this input. All right, so that's going to be there. And all chat start nodes have input as text as an input variable. So you can add state variables too. All right, we're not going to change any of this in our start node, and we're going to just head back to our workflow over here and then click on the My Agent node to work with this. So once you click on My Agent, you have the My Agent properties over here. I'm going to select GPT-5 mini over here. I'm going to put the reasoning effort as high. Let's keep the output format as text. Let's look at more options over here. So there's verbosity. Let's keep it as high because we are wanting to generate a web page. And now let's add some instructions over here. So to add the instructions, I'm going to click on this expand prompt button, and this is going to expand the prompt over here. And let me add the instructions here. So for the prompt, I have put that you're a helpful assistant, generate a single HTML, CSS, JS document, no other text or output to represent the web page that is requested by the user in their query. Remember, only give the unified HTML document. All right, cool. So I have this prompt now, and let's click on save over here. And now let me simply add an end node over here. So I'll click on this and I'll drag it out. And this gives me a new node option over here. And let me select the end node over here. And this just adds the end node over here. Okay. Now this is a simple HTML page generator. One more thing I'll do is I'll rename my agent as one shot web page generator. And that's it. So now I have my simple workflow over here. All right, so to preview this particular workflow, you can actually go on to this preview button. And if you hover over this, you'll see that run preview is unavailable for non-verified organizations. Verify organization to use this. So let's click on this. This brings us to the organization's settings page, and we'll click on verify organization over here to verify ourselves. And let's now follow this with the ID check. Now, once you do that, you end up on this page on withpersona.com. Read through this and check this box if you agree and begin verifying. So once you've verified your organization, you can see that this preview button will become live. To verify, in my case, I had to provide a government ID and had to take some selfies of my face, turn left, right, and in the center. And after doing that process, it was almost instantly verified, and now I have a live preview button over here. In case this is still grayed out for you, just refresh this page once, and once you do that, you should be able to see a preview button over here. All right. Now let's click on preview over here. And now you can see that this is in preview and you can test the workflow over here. So I'm going to write a query over here. All right, so I have put in a query that build a landing page for an AI education company called the AI language that teaches about building AI agents. All right. And now let's click on send over here and see what happens. All right, so you can see that the query is gone in over here. It's trying to actually run the agent, which is the one-shot web page generator. It's reasoning over here. All right, so now I start to see the output coming in over here, and we can copy the output from here. So let's wait for it to be completed. Now you can see the output that has come in is in a very unstructured format. So you have some text over here, then you have some HTML formatted text over here. And again, you have some more text in between. So this is actually not usable. So I'm going to stop this preview and I'm going to correct the output format. All right. I'm going to head back to the canvas, click on the agent over here and select the output format as JSON. And I'm going to click on add schema over here. And if you see, it says that what's the name of the schema. So that's response schema. I'm going to let it be. And then I'm going to add a property over here. So I'm going to add the property name as HTML doc. And I'll add a description over here. The description that I've added is full unified HTML, CSS and JS document for the web page requested by the user. All right. Now I'm going to click on update over here. And now I have the response schema over here. Let me again try to preview this by clicking over here and let's add a query over here. So I've entered build a landing page for an AI education company called the AI language that teaches students how to build AI agents. Now let's press enter. So this sends in the query and now this starts running the one-shot web page generator. Let's wait for this generator to complete. You can see that the preview pane over here highlights the node that is currently being executed, which is one-shot web page generator. And this is the agent. You can also see the agent reasoning over here. Just remember that we had selected high amount of reasoning and a verbose outputs. This is going to take some time for it to complete. All right, and now we can see the output coming in over here, and you can see that it is in the form of a JSON with the property HTML doc that we had requested for the output format. And we have the HTML document over here. And this is much easier now to copy and paste and preview. So again, we are going to wait for this to get completed and then we are going to preview this in a browser. All right, so now this is completed and you can actually see that there's a button over here to click and see the logs. And there's an instruction over here, there's an input over here and there's an output. You can see the respective tokens and there's a summary over here. So in all, we have actually used 16,238 tokens in this particular instance. So this is useful to understand how many tokens you're using. All right, so we're going to close this for now and we're going to head back over here. So there's no simple copy button over here. So I'm just going to copy the entire string from here and use this to actually preview it. Let's copy the HTML doc over here. Let's open VS Code. So I'm going to create a new file called test.html and save it on the desktop and let's click on create. All right, let's paste our document over here. Now you can see that there are 3 lines over here. So I'm just going to use the third one, which is output underscore parsed. And I'm going to remove the property name, which is HTML doc. So if you right click and click on format document, you'll get a better looking document like this. Now you can see that the JSON string has a lot of escape sequences over here. And what we want to do is we want to unescape this. So we are going to go to extensions and search for popular unescape extensions. And this is the most popular one over here. So I'm going to select and install it. You might also install it to do the same if you wish to. And let's click on install. Now to unescape, we use Command Alt and then a semicolon. So let me head back to my document over here. Let's select the entire thing and let's say Command Alt and semicolon. All right, so this gives us the HTML document. It's 1690 lines. Now in your generated HTML, you might have some errors which you can actually see using these red marks over here. So I'm going to actually go to each of these red marks and quickly correct those errors. This is like a line break which should not be there. So I'm just going to remove this from here. There's also a line break over here. And this just completes our HTML. So now we can actually open this test.html5. I've saved it on the desktop. So I'm now going to open it in a Chrome browser window. So to open this file in the Chrome browser, you can actually just right click this file and open with Chrome or some other browser, or you can enter the address of the file after file : in the Chrome address bar. So I've done that and this is the web page that we have. So you can see that it's done a pretty good job about creating this particular web page. You have the header over here, you have the hero section, you have a form over here, and you can actually generate agent, show code, or run demo. And you have different sections below this. You have several courses mentioned over here with the enroll buttons. There is a pricing section and what students say, etc. There's a frequently asked questions section over here, and these can all be expanded like this, right? So I think it's done a pretty good job for a one-shot web page builder. And we use the GPT-5 mini model over here. I guess if we use the GPT-5 model with high reasoning and verbose output, it might have done actually an even better job. So that is the output that we see over here. Now let's go back to our agent builder. All right, so now we are back on our agent builder. We can close the preview by clicking over here. So that's all for this lecture, and we have seen how we can set up our OpenAI account, how we can actually add some credits, and we can actually then also allow data sharing if we wish to get some free credits according to the terms and conditions of OpenAI. We then went on and created a simple workflow with a start node, a one-shot web page generator, and an end node. And we use the chat feature over here after clicking on preview. To access the preview option, you do need to provide some kind of identification and your face photograph. So you can actually look at this and what's applicable for your country and do that. It's almost instantaneous, the approval, at least in my case. And after that, you have the live preview button over here. And once you click this, you enter the preview screen over here. You can actually start a chat flow and test out your agent. All right. So thanks a lot for watching. And in the next lectures, we'll actually go into more details around how we can work with this agent builder.